So this is really the story of the project, this site. I'd done the stories, I'd done the photographs. There's a small group of us working at the heart of the regeneration in the area. We're developing ideas, you know, the ideas about how the streets would be done is kind of taking place, and decisions about the buildings. You know, this was too late for this one, it had already been done, but, you know, it would be too late to kind of do anything about that, all that. In fact, certain things had got planning permission already before we were, you know, but anything else that was coming on stream, it was like, if you've got something old and you want to build something new next to it, it has to be modern. It can't be a pastiche, but it, you know, it has to engage in an interesting and sympathetic way with the old building. All these kind of aspects of how the area would be constructed culturally were being developed, and so we become a close-knit team working together. And I get a phone call at 4 o'clock from Stephen O'Malley. You might get to speak to later. He was one of the engineers for the area. And he says, Dan, I know it's a bit late in the afternoon, but they discovered today a tunnel underneath Henry Street because they're doing the roads here. They're just starting to dig up the roads to relay them. And he said, and I've been brought down, I spent the day working out what to do, and I've been told by the highway engineers that we have to fill it with concrete on Monday, 25 cubic metres of concrete. And we're all standing around here, we think it's really interesting. You know, the archaeologist is just on his way down. Do you want to come and have a look at it, take some photos? So 4.5 minutes later, I'm here, as fast as I can get here. And the scene I come to is this. It's just so funny. Where is it? Geographically, his legs are here. His head is in that hole there. So they've dug this little hole through the pavement, and he's making noises like David Bellamy. Ooh! Wow! You know, stalactites! I was like, what? So within about 5 minutes, we got hold of the main contractor on this site. This was still very much a raw building site, and he brought us brought a sledgehammer, and we went down the stairs there and broke in to this tunnel, and the smell, and I mean, like a wave of damp hair came at us, like it had come from a subterranean, you know, I don't know, network of tunnels, and the smell and the, you know, all of the hairs on the neck of our back is like a dog, you know. And so we went in, and there were these stalactites coming down the ceiling. It was completely clean as well, a very strange atmosphere. And I came out and I started looking around, and I'm going, look, this thing looks like a multi-storey car park / bit of housing. There's this nook up here I hadn't seen before. What's going on here? And what I said was, guys, we can't film this in. We need to keep this. And they're like, they just look at me. Why? I don't know, but admit it. Whose hair is standing on end at the moment? All right, yeah, but why would you keep us? I don't know why we keep it. I don't know how we would keep it. They're going, yeah, if you kept it, how would anyone see it? You know, it's walled up there and it's walled up there. What are you going to do? Have people look down a hole into it? I don't know. So, very sympathetic contractor, quite unusual, because if you say to him, could you go work on another bit of the road? He goes, yeah, that would be £5 grand, please. You know, yeah, I had a chat with him saying, look, I can't pick up the pieces if you go and charge these people more money for it. But could you not? You've got 3 other bits of road you're doing. Could you not focus on those for a little bit? Just take a little pause here. And he said, you know, I think we could. It's no problem for us. So he said, you've got a couple of weeks. And then I came to the engineer and I said, you can't fill that in on Monday. And he said, well, it's always been here and it hasn't fallen in yet. And I said, well, what do you usually do if you've got a hole in the road? He said, you put a big piece of metal over it. So, you know, he said, yeah, I'll go and talk to them. It'll be difficult. They'll fight me. I said, well, there's the Bridge of Settlements over there. That's a traditional place to settle your fights in Ancoats. No one can see you. So they gave me a couple of weeks, and they said, well, look, Dan, if you're interested in this, I think you might be interested. In fact, there's a walled-up toilet out there. And they took me over to see that. By the end of those 2 weeks, I realised we had a substation that was empty for a long time. tunnels in all directions from underneath him, a toilet that was empty, a bell tower that had never had bells in it and always been empty, an overhead walkway that nobody knew what to do with. I'd heard about the shoe, being walled up, and I'd heard about these other sites. I'd heard about little sites in buildings where they kept finding walled up rooms as they were cleaning them out. I thought, there's something here, we could keep some of these. And I didn't tell you the story of that canal, but when you go for a piss in that canal, guess where the pee goes? Straight into it. So, whereas in the city, those things were built for sanitary conditions, and here, they were what's the difference between standing and peeing in the canal and standing in the urinal? To be out of sight and out of mind. So that Victorian Edwardian urinal is all about the values of that time, and nothing to do with hygiene or actually providing a facility. And children all swam in that canal all the time. There we go. Those of you who like to come along and we'll walk straight on to the next one.